One's a supernova.
One's a white dwarf. I remember that.
And one is, what's his name that is the last of the Nova Corps?
Nova Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Richard something.
Oh, Richard Rider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a supernova versus Richard Rider.
Oh, I knew it. Gosh, that makes sense. When does the white dwarf come out?
I don't know, but this is all footage that we should be recording.
I mean, there's still a microphone right there that's picking some of this up.
No,
so.
that's not good.
I'm recording already.
There you go.
I know you are.
So, on 1, 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to the final review episode of Season 2 for The Mandalorian. We are talking about Episode 8 of Season 2, Chapter 16. It's called The Rescue.
The Reckoning.
The Rescue. Directed by Peyton Reed, so we brought him back. We didn't know that Peyton Reed was coming back. He did Episode 2 of this season. Of course, he's well known for doing the Ant-Man movies.
Like a last-minute reveal on like Thursday, because I think somebody let slip Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. It came out. But anyways, there's a lot to talk about in this episode. Spoilers. Spoiler review. We are spoiling it, so if you have not seen the episode, thank you for clicking on the video, but please pause it, go watch the episode, and then come back, because I don't want you to get spoiled. Yeah, this is a great episode.
Yes. Where do you want to start in this one, dude?
Okay, so we don't recap it beat by beat.
No.
But I feel like it's important to talk about what happened. So the first thing that we do is we find the scientist that's been working on Grogu. We kidnap him. We get a nice little moment about Alderaan with Cara Dune and our Imperial pilots. We kidnap him. He actually is just kind of like...
he's not really with the Empire, it feels like. He's just like, I just wanted to do some science stuff.
Yeah, it feels like he was working for them by force.
Yeah.
And so he's just kind of, whatever, don't hurt me kind of guy. Then we go and we pick up Bo-Katan and her compatriot, just one. We don't get. Yeah. The guide isn't there. He's off on a side mission. Don't worry about it. There's a little back and forth between Bo-Katan and Boba Fett, which I thought was great. And part of that, there's some backstory there. Okay. So obviously, like in Mandalore, was at one time was under Imperial occupation by clone troopers, and so that voice to her is an enemy.
Yeah, and she looks ready to fight.
And when she says, you're disgraced in that armor and all that stuff, and just going back, and he's like, I didn't say I was a Mandalorian. And her line of when he says, this was my father's armor, she's like, don't you mean donor? Yeah. And it's like, oh. And there's some real tension there, and it continues. I mean, even when they're then setting up the chase, and he keeps calling her princess, very derisively. And so there's definitely tension between the two of them.
My question is, so Jango is not a Mandalorian, or Jango was?
Well, so what we found out this season, because there's always been some question about it, is that Jango, we think, was a foundling like Din Djarin, like our Mando.
Okay. Basically, he was found by the Mandalorian.
Right, he was raised in Mandalorian culture. He fought with Mandalorians during the first... Civil War, which is pre the events of the Empire and all that stuff.
That's where you get the break of the Death Watch or whatever.
Correct, but he wasn't a native of Mandalore.
Yeah. So yes, but Mandalorian culture doesn't require you to be from Mandalore to be a Mandalorian. But in her mind, this guy is a clone. He's not a Mandalorian, and she's not wrong. He is a clone. Yeah. He's just the special clone that didn't have aging attached to him and was raised as a son, not raised as a Republic trooper. Yeah. And so they don't get into that, and he's not going to try and defend himself because he doesn't care enough about her to get into all that.
That means he has to have feelings for that.
So we pick them up. She is she's kind of like, I don't want to be involved. I'm not a bounty hunter. They have the child. Who does? Moff Gideon. You can't find him. Actually, we know where his coordinates are. You can bring me to Moff Gideon. It's very...
Everyone else in the show was like, he has a kid. I'll help. He has a kid. I don't give a dang.
Right, yeah, no, she's really not on board until she hears the words Moff Gideon.
Yeah, like she was looking for an excuse not to go.
Exactly. And then, once she finds out that she can get Moff Gideon, she switches immediately, and she kind of goes, and she gives a breakdown of he has this ancient weapon that is mine, and I want it back, And Mando's like, well, if you help me, you can have that. You can have the light cruiser, whatever. All I care about is the kid, right? And he's very clear about that. He says that right to her. All I care about is the kid. Mm-hmm. So they make their plan to infiltrate the light cruiser. Things go mostly to plan, except that Moff Gideon is not on the bridge where they expect him to be.
Steps ahead.
And then we get a lot of other things. So that I feel like I just wanted to give this setup for how we got to everything. So with all of that, before we get to the huge big reveal, which I do want to talk about.
I agree.
At this point, all of that stuff, what was standing out to you? Were there things where you were like, of course, or I was expecting that, or it was unexpected? What were you at?
Well, I think we talked about this offline.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks returning.
Yeah.
How did you like that your girl lied to you?
Yeah, she did.
I'm happy lie.
Because she did say that she was done for the season.
Yes. So thank you, Sasha. Appreciate that. My thing, and I kind of, watching her character, Boba comments even to her, the side character talks, that little side comment.
Yeah.
Both of them are the side characters in this, which is funny to me. Mm-hmm. But I almost agree with you now that Boba's just lucky. Because she kicked his ass. I feel like she could have taken him.
Well, she appears to be much younger.
And I get that too. But
and he's coming up against another Mandalorian that knows what they're doing with the armor.
Exactly.
And all this stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that she wouldn't have won that fight.
Oh, I think she could.
I think Boba Fett, this is 2 episodes in a row where he stays in the ship.
Yeah.
Like in the last episode when there's,
he knows he's already pushed his prime.
He's not going into the Imperial facility. He's not doing the sniping from the top. He's in the ship. And in this episode too, he's in the ship and he's out. And again, it all fits well. It makes sense why
he's
he
a
does
good
that.
fighter pilot because he took the TIE fighters out.
Which I love, because he didn't have to at that point. They'd already gotten in. And he could have just jumped to light speed. He's like, nah, I'm going to take out these TIE fighters.
I'm still the badass here. But I like it because it's like how you said, I think, in the episode where he returned, where, he's just lucky, he's just like this clumsy buffoon sometimes. And I kind of got that feel from this one, too, where he's fighting her. Yes, she's younger, and, you have that speed, agility on your side. But to me, he's been around so long, he should have the knowledge, that wisdom to know, okay, maybe I don't fight the way you do in the armor, but I fought enough people like you in my lifetime that I should know how to fight you.
Well, and he does, he
holds his own.
He throws the first blade. He flips her into the table and everything, and then he's like, he thinks he's got her with this whole last thing, and she's just like, nah, I've got a jetpack, bro.
I like how they use the jetpack though in this with that walk on the wall kind of look.
Yep.
I thought that was very clever.
Yeah, it's not just a flight device. It's also used for gaining leverage during fights, and we've seen these Mandalorians use it that way.
Yeah.
We saw it in the episode they were introduced in, and we see it in this one, not only in this scene, but also when they're infiltrating the cruiser.
Yes.
They use their jetpacks for a lot of reasons.
Obi-Wan Kenobi is best friends with all the Mandalorians because they always have the high ground. That's the only thing I've learned from all this now.
I mean, he was in love with Satine, who was Bo-Katan's sister. And there were a lot of rumors that they had a love child. That was actually the one theory that I liked about Rey, is maybe Rey was the granddaughter of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Satine.
Oh, that would have made sense.
I would have liked that way more than what we got.
That makes more sense.
That's not what we got, so
no other thing. So, I like that fight scene. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I agree. I think, like you said, Boba kind of taking a little jab at the Empire, but he didn't need to kill him. Like you said, he could have fought off, done.
Well, and again, Dr. Pershing basically tells him, there's this legion of dark troopers that are going to kick your butt.
Yeah.
And, they take a few minutes to power up. He's telling him everything.
Yeah, he spills his guts. He's like, I really don't care. I just don't want to die.
And even in the first season, when we first are introduced to him, is when, Mandalorian shows up to get Grogu back. And he's not sure at that point what Mandalorian's going to do. He's like, don't hurt him.
He's like, don't hurt the baby.
So he does, and is that partially self-preservation? Because if the baby dies, is he out of a job? And now he's in trouble. But he does seem to not just be totally evil, right?
No, he seems to be just, like you said, almost like he said, captain of the Empire. But I look at it more of, he's just a scientist. He doesn't care who's paying the bill.
Yeah, he just
wants
talks.
To learn how to make, if it's a clone trooper or whatever. He just wants to learn, I think.
But that also doesn't make sense because he's going to still have his job if Moff Gideon holds on to to Grogu. If they are able to get him, he's not going to be able to keep doing any experiments.
Like Moff Gideon said, I already have his blood. If they already have the blood, then you're good.
I think they pulled some blood, but at some point they might need him again. Yeah. I mean, that's what happened the first time.
True.
That's why they had to kidnap him again, because we need more. And we even got that earlier. So I think Moff Gideon would prefer to continue having Grogu.
I mean, he would. He obviously wants it. Well, he was going to kill Mando if he could.
Oh yeah.
And so he was going to keep it. But I think this episode I think is one of the better packed episodes. Yeah. Except again, we got the whole transmission and the previous episode, and they weren't already there. And it's like you're gonna let this random shit in, like really?
Again, Star Wars likes to play with things. Mm. It's not necessarily linear. Like there's nothing that says that message he sent to Moff Gideon wasn't sent 2 minutes before they came out of hyperspace with Boba Fett on the
That's true, I guess.
Like, I don't think so. That doesn't seem to be the case. But he was on the bridge at the time when they first come out of hyperspace, so it's very possible that moment led directly into
this like it happened right afterwards.
Which would also be like, and you could see as they come out of hyperspace, like he's not totally convinced.
No, he wasn't.
Like,
you're right.
And they're kind of like, because he's like, deploy the troop, like the TIE fighters.
TIE fighters.
Like, he's like,
don't let them land.
We're not giving them clearance to land. We'll blow this other ship out of the sky, and then we'll figure out what's happening. Yeah. And they force their way on ship, and I think at that point he knows they're not Imperials, even before any shooting starts, even before they get out of their ship, because. Why would actual Imperials disobey? Yeah. Like in that moment, they're not going to. If they're getting clear orders that say stay clear of the launch tube, they're gonna stay clear.
And I think he's a very good actor. I can never pronounce it.
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes. We'll go with that because I can't say names.
That's his name.
It is. I just can't say it. I'm gonna apologize ahead. Yeah. I think that was a good line too. Like he's a very good actor. Facial expressions were perfect because I think you're right, especially where they say. What does Bo-Katan say? Like, no, we need to land now, or something. Yeah. You can see it goes from the to like, I'm thinking like, nah, those are some other over there. Like something ain't right now. Like from the thought to like, no, they're not mine.
Correct.
Which is why he left the bridge. He was like, gotta go.
And exactly. So at what point, when they're doing their whole plan, they talk about how Mando, I'm going alone, and it's we're gonna be the distraction, and you go get Grogu. Yeah. And at that point, I knew, okay. He's off by himself. He's going to have a one-on-one with Moff Gideon. Exactly. Did you know that too?
I had a good feeling of it. I was like, there's no way they're going to send 5 or 6 people in to go fight Moff Gideon because I didn't think they were ready for that kind of thing because she keeps commenting in the ship, Moff Gideon is mine. No, he's Imperial. I have to take him alive. Oh, I didn't say you have to be alive or dead. I have to fight her to me. And she kept pushing that.
Which is a very important line, which you find out. So before we get to the fight between Mando and Moff Gideon, we get a Dark Trooper finally.
One gets out.
We get that moment where their plan is to kind of keep them locked in their holding bay, but just before he gets there, one of them, is able to basically pry the door open and get out, and it's a one-on-one fight, and Mando's getting his face pounded in.
Literally pounded into the wall.
And this is and then he tries his flames and he tries all kinds of things.
The flamethrower looked cool though.
It looked cool the way it did. Really cool again. And this is one thing, and this is not Mando specific or Star Wars specific. This is like all the time. It happens in so many things where like a bad guy will have them pinned in something and then decide to throw them across the room. Yeah. And it's like that was a bad choice. Like if you kept holding him and just kept punching him, like this was gonna end well for you, Dark Trooper. And so that's not a Mando specific thing. It's not a Star Wars. It's like it happens all the time. But he did.
You crush his neck. No, gotta throw him. What? Yeah. You're the villain. You have to throw him. But I could just nope.
And at that point, after he tries the flamethrower, it doesn't work. And he gets thrown across the room. I'm counting the seconds to when is he gonna break out the spear? Yeah. Like that's to me, it was like. Obviously, he needs the spear. That's the only thing that is going to take down this Dark Trooper. Yeah. And he does his whistling birds, his little wrist rocket thing. That really, it hits him, and those are made out of Beskar. And so clearly those are damaging the Dark Trooper.
Yeah, because it flinches.
But they're not getting the right spot. It's like, you need to basically take out his head, kind of thing. And so he finally busts out the spear, right through the neck, right through the head. Takes it out and releases the rest of them out into space. At that point, did you know?
Nah, that I was kind of like, they have to have some type of jetpack because we saw him fly. I was like, maybe they'll come back.
Yeah.
And then the moment they're like boarding party, I was like, oh, they're back. There they are.
Yeah. And this was one of those for me where it was like, as soon as he did it, I was like, well,
They're gonna come back.
I'm a Star Wars guy, and so I was like, I know droids can survive in space.
Exactly.
And we also know that they can fly because we saw that 2 episodes ago when they kidnapped Baby Grogu. And so it was like one of those things where I'm like, okay, they are coming back.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
and
obviously, the only thing that could have hurt them would be the vast coldness of space, but I didn't think they'd be affected by that.
No. And I didn't know at that point. It was like I didn't think about it, but if I had thought about it, I'd go, I don't know how our team's gonna beat them.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it, so it was okay. But then of course we get, they completely take the bridge and we get that perfect line, where is Moff Gideon? Cut to
Good to them, yes.
Moff Gideon holding the lightsaber above Grogu and basically saying, not only do I know you've been traveling with Bo-Katan, not only do I know you can't take me out from a distance because you already used your whistling birds,
yes,
but I'm gonna kill this little baby if you come too close.
My thing is this: how is Moff Gideon that? Is he like precognitive or anything? I don't know anything about him. So
we don't know anything about him. He's a brand new character to the Mandalorian.
To this show. Okay.
Yeah, we've never seen him before. I don't think he's force sensitive. I think he has a lot of informants. I mean, he was able to get a tracking device put on Mando.
He's just very smart.
And so I think maybe he saw the security footage and he saw it was Bo-Katan, and so he went, okay, obviously, like he knows who Bo-Katan is. And so, there's explanations for it. I don't know that we need it.
Yeah, I don't think we do. I just didn't know if he was like force sensitive, precognitive or something.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Now, did you think at all Moff was gonna let him just take the baby and
go? Heck
no.
Okay. 100%. There's no chance that this villain wasn't.
He's evil. Come on.
Absolutely. And I did love that he kind of and again, you get Mando being like, the only thing I care about is Grogu. Like he's like, let me go. And he already he
the
promised,
monologue he gives, he's like, oh.
Well, and he had promised Bo-Katan, like, you can have the cruiser, you can have the Darksaber, I'll give him Moff Gideon. At that moment, he doesn't care. He basically says, you can go. All I want is Grogu.
I
do not care.
I thought it was funny though that he has this look at this Darksaber and Mando's like,
I don't care.
Like, he's like, well, you don't
right.
want this? He's like, no, just baby.
I just want Grogu.
I just like he turned it off. He's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, it was just like,
okay.
My whole plan just got flipped for a second.
And it's one of those things where I think, in that moment, I don't know if Moff Gideon is thinking this far ahead, but I think he knows that he's not going to be able to escape. And so this is his chance to force Mandalorian to fight him. Maybe he beats him, I'm sure he was trying to beat him. But this was clearly...
either get lucky and kill you, or...
This was clearly, he wanted to cause this conflict that we
dissension in the ranks,
And so I'm going to fight the Mandalorian. And so, yes, he's trying to get him off his guard, and it works. I mean, Mandalorian is laser focused on Grogu. That's all he cares about. So he's like, all right, I'm going to go get my baby.
Yeah, like, you turn off the saber, cool.
And then here comes Moff Gideon, and he's, and we get a nice battle between them where he's using the Beskar spear. And
I like that the Beskar, how they did the heat up look to it.
Yeah, and we saw that a little bit with the episode where Ahsoka was fighting the magistrate that had that as well.
I like that fight scene.
It was a cool fight scene.
Really interesting to see.
We saw, Moff Gideon is, certainly he's a skilled warrior, but we also know that Mandalorian knows what he's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And eventually, of course, he gets the upper hand, and I love Moff Gideon when he's,
This will be interesting.
Well, yeah, he's like, oh, you're gonna spare my life? This will be interesting.
Yeah.
Like that's it's a really cool line.
So he knows a lot about Mandalorian lore, I'm assuming.
Oh, of course.
I mean, he knows the story of the Darksaber. He knows all about that stuff.
So I want to know I wonder if he was Mandalorian at one point.
No.
No,
you don't think so?
No, he's an Imperial.
You think? But you're not born Imperial, are you?
Nah, he's an Imperial. He's never been Mandalorian. Even if he was born on Mandalore, he's not a Mandalorian.
Yeah, because Darth Maul had the saber also, and he got it the same way. He had to win it.
And that's the thing is that the Darksaber, the lore of the Darksaber having to be won, is something that has been established in both Clone Wars and Rebels.
Okay.
But what we did see in Star Wars Rebels was after Darth Maul was defeated, and that was by Ahsoka Tano in the Clone Wars. He didn't have the Darksaber with him, and so that his kind of stash of stuff was discovered by Sabine Wren, who was one of our main characters on Rebels, and she discovered the Darksaber. She did not win it in combat.
Correct.
And then she had basically conflict about whether or not she wanted to be a ruler, and kind of take that mantle, or kind of stay in the shadows. And she eventually decided to give up the Darksaber to Bo-Katan. And she did give it to her.
Surrendered it to her.
Accepted it. Well, and that's the thing, is that obviously those events happened before the Siege of Mandalore, and everything went completely to crap, and Mandalore, the Empire basically destroyed it. And so the question is, at this point, obviously Bo-Katan accepted it one time before without fighting for it. And I think that she views that as a mistake. Because I don't think this is Dave Filoni going, I forgot what happened in Clone Wars and Rebels. Everybody knows that the last time she had it, she didn't win it in combat. And so I think she's going, that is what led to the fracture. Maybe, members of the Mandalorian culture didn't, buy into her because she didn't win it through combat, and so they said,
Correct.
We're not going to follow you. Maybe that split is what led the Empire to be able to destroy them. So there's a lot here, and I really think that she views that all as a mistake, and so she has to win it, which is why she was so intent on being the one to fight Moff Gideon. And you could see, as soon as that door opens, and he walks in with Moff Gideon, he's got the Darksaber, he's holding Grogu,
she's just eyeballing that saber.
and she's like, what happened? Like, she is not happy with this situation.
No, she was eyeballing that saber the moment he came in. And I think I agree with you, because I like how he tries, here, take it, I don't want, like he says, he doesn't.
I yield.
Because it's like, I don't know if she was worried at all that maybe Mando was trying to trick her, but he's literally, I don't
want it.
I don't think she's trying to trick him. I think she
I don't know if she thought Mando was going to try to trick her. Like, I got this.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I don't think so. I think she's just saying, this is not how it works.
Correct.
This doesn't work for me.
Here's my thing.
Yeah.
If you just have to fight and win the battle, why not just fight him, and why not just Mando throw the fight?
That's not honor.
It's not honor.
But how would she know if he's like, well, let's actually fight?
I mean,
he'll know.
She'd know. She'd know.
But I mean, you get the saber back.
She'd know. And considering the history of it, of the last time that she I think, again, in her mind, she didn't take it with honor. She didn't do it the right way last time. She doesn't want any wiggle room this time.
Okay.
I just love the way Mop's face looks.
Oh,
like when he walks, he's just smiling from ear to ear, like.
Happy. And he's like, why don't you just kill him and take him now?
Yeah.
Like, he's just
I love that character, but he's such a great actor. I love. He always does villains when I've seen him, and he does them perfectly.
And so then, before we can resolve that, we get interrupted.
Yeah, we get an X-wing.
No. This is where the Dark Troopers.
The Dark Troopers coming back.
A squadron come back.
And we get this whole again, Moff Gideon's like, guess what? Like, you had trouble with one. How about a platoon?
And again, that's 2 squads. It was like 16 of them.
No, there was like 40 of them.
That's still not a platoon.
I don't know.
Only under a platoon.
Term.
The Empire.
It's like what is a parsec?
Don't worry about it.
An acre.
Anyways, so we get them coming back. They're coming back on the ship. We get that ominous, tension building.
What's their armor made of? Did they
Beskar?
say? I don't know.
They didn't. It's obviously better than
the normal
Stormtrooper.
Yeah,
but it's not Beskar as we find out.
It's not?
Paper is a better armor than Stormtrooper armor.
That's
A sheet of freaking paper will protect me more than a Stormtrooper armor, I think, at this point.
A ream of paper, certainly. I don't know if just a single sheet.
Of paper.
I don't know if it's a single sheet, but I think, if you have like 500.
Okay, I'm sorry.
A phone book. He's wearing a phone book.
As Stormtrooper armor.
That's
How about
that's
that?
true.
Is that better?
I believe you.
It just, sorry, when you say it's better than Stormtrooper, I mean,
And it was cool, and I feel like we do have to mention it. Boba Fett's off in his ship. Mando's off by himself, which means our strike team is 4 chicks.
Yes.
And that's pretty awesome.
So, I do like that. A lot of people compare it to the Avengers scene.
Yes.
With all the women together.
Right. Which, this was way more organic than what in Endgame.
Exactly.
Like in Endgame, it was still cool.
It was a cool
I
scene.
liked it,
Yeah.
but it made no sense.
It was random, but like this one, it's like, and I love how they're going down the alley, and we get our first scene with just Gina's character and Ming-Na Wen.
Yeah, Fennec Shand.
And it's just them two, and I like that. And then we get the Mandalorians pop up to cover them from behind from those stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like on it, and
when the blaster jammed.
Gina's scene in that. Yeah, and I think. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think. So,
I don't mind it jamming.
So this is what I'm telling you is that scene. Mm-hmm. Why is that scene in there? Because we didn't get a character death, we didn't get a character injury or anything. So why is that scene in there? And I'll tell you why.
Why?
It's because of the post-credit stinger, where we know that Fennec is with Boba, and they're setting up some sort of. It seems like criminal, like they're gonna be criminal. We know Cara Dune's a ranger. This is setting up that Fennec at one point saved Cara Dune, and now they're going to be on opposite sides. And so it was like, we had to work together, I needed your help, and now we're going to be in opposition. And so it's setting up something in the future.
Yeah, because what would it be like, I got you, and then...
Yeah, it was very obvious by the end of it. I was like, oh, that's why that scene exists.
I'll give you that. My only problem with that theory, with that idea of it, is that I think Fennec asks her, "Do you need help with that?" And she's like, "No," and bangs it the butt.
Well, that's after. That's when they're in the elevator.
Oh, that's right, because she helps her before.
Yeah, because she yells at it. She goes,
that asked her if she needs
"It's jammed," and she's like, "I got you," and jumps over her.
And so,
and it's like taking a jab, saying, "Now you owe me."
Yeah, a little bit.
That makes sense. I forgot about that.
So,
but like in the elevator, it just dragged out.
Yeah. Because she was like, "Do you need help with that?" She was like, "No, I got it." I was like,
again.
But I did love all four of them coming out where she's like, "I got this," and she comes out front with the whole thing, and I'm like, "This is a cool scene." Like I said, it was so much.
Them out. The Mandalorians, the way that they fight with their armor and with their jetpacks, it's all really cool.
I love it.
You've got, kind of the sharpshooter that is Fennec and the bruiser that's Cara Dune, and it's just all, it was really cool. It was
such a more organic scene, like you said, than the Avengers and being one. Again, I still love the scene, still powerful, but this almost had that more power to it to me because it was so much more fluid, organic, if whatever you want to call it, because it's like, here's our girls, we've already met them throughout the whole season.
I didn't think about it until, they got to the bridge, and I was like, oh yeah, it's just all the chicks. Yeah. And then I was like, that's awesome. And to me, that's a sign that it worked really well, is that I didn't think about the fact that it was all women. That moment in Avengers, it was like, here's all the women of the MCU, except Scarlett Johansson, who, tear.
Well, but then you got to understand that, Clone Wars and Rebels, they're either troopers or clones, and they're all male.
Yeah, exactly. So no, this was a really cool scene, and the way that they did it, I thought worked really well.
Yeah, Jon Favreau and what you say the director's name was again?
Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Yeah, I think they did this perfectly. I think shout out to them because I think this was maybe even better than an Endgame scene because of the organic fluid. Y'all tell me in the comments what you think on that, but I loved it. Yeah, I love all these women too. I think they're amazing actresses. Gina's I like you, Gina, but you got some amazing actresses by you that are kind of tossing you over.
And I think we talked about it last night that she was more of a grunt trooper, and then she's too pretty to be a grunt trooper.
Yeah,
because her hair's done, her makeup's done.
I liked her early scene in this one where she's talking about Alderaan with the pilot.
That was a better scene.
That was a good scene. And then the rest of it is mostly action stuff, and so it's
she's good at that. Being an MMA fighter, that's what she's done all her life.
We gotta get to it now.
Yeah.
So we're back on the bridge, and the Dark Troopers are coming. We don't know how we're gonna beat them. Moff Gideon basically says, "You're all gonna be dead. It's just gonna be me and Baby Grogu. They're gonna be the only ones that survive." And then we get incoming aircraft, and we see an X-wing.
One little X-wing flying up. I love her comment though. Like, yay, one X-wing.
Well, so I want to ask you, as the not Star Wars fan, who you've seen them but you're not the big. At what point did you know it was Luke?
I don't only remember.
Was it at that point?
Oh yeah,
was it when the X-wing came in? Okay.
The moment the X-wing came in, I was like, well, who would be that person? And I always remember Luke in an X-wing. So I went straight to Luke because I've never seen Mace Windu fly. I've never seen Obi-Wan fly one. So I don't know if they knew how.
Well, so my thing dead at this point. Mace Windu is also probably dead.
Mace Windu does not die. Samuel L. Jackson never dies, no matter what movie he's in.
Okay.
Name one movie.
He's on the motherfucking plane. Get some motherfucking snakes.
He's not dead.
Jackie Brown.
He's still not dead. Somehow.
Pulp Fiction.
But yeah, the moment I saw that, I knew it was him. And then there was maybe a small hope that could have been, we had commented, they haven't really said if Mace Windu is dead.
Yeah.
But the black robe. The moment I saw black, it's always Luke or Anakin that wear black. None of the other Jedi's ever wear black.
Okay.
So
for me, For me, when the first X-Wing showed up, when it came in, at first I was like, I thought it was, like maybe one of our X-Wing pilots that we've gotten this season, and I thought maybe we're going to get more ships. And so as soon as she said the line, one X-Wing, oh great, we're saved, I was like, oh yeah, you are! I was like, you are saved! And
don't worry about this.
And it was amazing because we've talked about this on previous episodes. Like, I did not expect them to do this. I told you this is who I wanted. You asked me, who do I want? I was like, I want Luke.
John's watching.
But I was like, this is not going to happen. They're not going to give us Luke. Definitely not.
John's watching. He heard you.
And they gave us Luke! And I love the slow build. I mean, we get the X-Wing. We get, they're like, identify yourself. He doesn't, we get nothing back. Then we see security footage, so there's no color. Of him just.
I just like the fact how it's set in the future, it's set in space, and nobody can afford like HD television that have color. They're all black. They're all black and white.
Don't worry. Well, this is a long time ago.
Yeah.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Right. Yeah.
I just thought it was funny.
It's funny. So anyways, we get the security footage of him, and again, so it's a slow build. It's like, okay, it's a hooded figure. Then the next thing that we get, I think we see like the boots, then the cape, we see it's in black. Then eventually we finally see the green lightsaber, and then we see the black glove. Yes. And it's like all of those things that lead us to be like, this is Luke. But they still don't give it to us until all the way when he's finally on the bridge. I did love, we get another hallway scene, which is kind of calling back to like Darth Vader in Rogue One, when he just mows down all those people.
And he is taking these robots out like nothing.
Yeah, which is where we know for sure this is not Beskar that they are made out of. Because
he cuts right through.
The lightsaber is just cutting right through everything. And he's taking them down. He's mowing down these guys. And the whole time you're seeing Grogu has clearly
attached himself.
Like he's sensed that this is the Jedi I talked to. Yeah, this is and I do love that moment when he finally when Luke has dispatched with all the troopers and he's waiting outside the door, and you get that moment of Grogu and the Mando, and Grogu kind of looks at him, and you can see again through a mask. I don't know how they do this, but you can see.
He's good.
You can see on the mask. Well, even without any voice though, you can see on the mask. He realizes, we need to open the door. Yeah. Like this, Grogu is communicating with him, like, let this guy in.
Yeah, open the door.
And did Moff know though?
I don't think Moff had any clue. Okay. And he had been knocked out by that point too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He was generally freaked out when he was like Jedi.
Mando saved Grogu. Yeah. Dove into him to save him. That was pretty great.
Real quick, guys, I want to backtrack before we finish this part of the sentence. Why would Moff want to kill himself? Because he was about to blow his own head off. Who was he afraid of?
That's true. This whole time you've been saying, well, what if he's working for Thrawn? What if he's working for somebody? And I've been like, nah, Moff Gideon's not doing it. But he's
obviously under somebody.
I'm with you. He does not want to be captured. He does not want to be under the New Republic.
And he's afraid of somebody too, just like everyone's afraid of him.
We don't know.
Yeah, because he was about to. I thought they were going to do it too. I was like, are they really going to have him blow his head off?
No, they're not. So anyway, then we get they open the door. Luke comes in. Takes off the hood. We get the
1970s Luke.
1980s Luke. This is after Return of the Jedi, which was 1983.
Sorry.
So yeah, he hasn't gotten a haircut in 5 years, and his eyes are dead. Which, and it was the moment so this whole sequence. I knew it was Luke, but for 5 minutes, which is about how long the sequence was, I was going, is this a DH Mark Hamill or is this
Sebastian
Stan or somebody else? Like who? What are we gonna get? Like that was the only question for me. I knew it was Luke, but what are we gonna see? As soon as the hood came up, it was a moment where I was like, oh wait, no, that's DH'd. That's DH Mark Hamill, and you can tell.
Yes,
and that's the thing.
Really good.
It's really good. He's obviously standing very still, and they're really trying to work with this technology. This is definitely a little bit TV budget because if you look at same company Disney. Marvel Studios, what they do with their de-aging technology with someone
Samuel Jackson,
Captain Marvel, or Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer in the Ant-Man movies. Yeah. They've done it with several different characters.
And it's a really good one.
Well, they do it so well because if you look at like the old Jedi, like what's his name, Liam Neeson, they're very calm and then just like. And that's the way he was. He was just like...
I was fine with his characteristics. It was just looking at him going... It's not... He's
not that 20-year-old, 30-year-old...
It was the CGI. You could see that it was CG, and it did make me it took me out of it just a little bit. I still loved it.
Yeah.
And the one thing that decision means to me, of this is a CG character, this is a CG de-aging rather than a recast, is what that tells me. We might not get Luke ever again in these series.
We probably won't.
Like this is... He showed up, he got Grogu. We might see Grogu again, I think we probably will, but that doesn't mean we'll see Luke again. And he's not going to be a major part of the story, because if he was, they would have recast an actor. They're not going to do this de-aging tech, for 5 episodes next season or anything.
It costs too much money. I mean, if you look at, there's a couple shots, because if you notice, it's dark lighting.
Yep.
So you can hide some stuff in there.
Sure.
There's one, few frames, maybe a few seconds, where you can see some graininess to the face.
Yeah.
Still really, really good.
It was
But
good.
my thing is this, I think you're right. I don't think we'll ever get Mark Hamill again as Luke. I think you're right. We're not going to get a recast. I think if we ever show anything, it's going to be like the over-the-shoulder shot, either a hood up, and Mark Hamill's voice,
or a hologram. Like we could see him, communicating in a hologram, because that's always a little bit like it's
could
supposed to look.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then all you need is Mark's voice, who's done voiceovers for the last 30 years or so.
Yeah.
So it's like I think they'll do that. Maybe over, like I said, maybe over the shoulder. Like you said, I keep forgetting about the holograms.
Yeah.
Like how's he doing? Oh, he's doing fine on a hologram. Or like just a quick scene of showing maybe like how powerful he is, and then you just pan back and you see like the hood. You're ready, and then that's it. Like that could be the only time you ever hear his voice or see the over the shoulder.
And I
shot.
don't know. I mean, this show is called The Mandalorian. I think we're gonna follow
Mando,
Djarin, and that's what I wanted to get to. Is okay. So Luke leaves with Grogu. We're left with our main crew there on the ship. That's how the episode ends.
Yes.
That's how season 2 ends. Is this the end for Din Djarin, or are we going to get more with that character? Is he still going to have his own show?
I think 3 years now at this point. 3 years. 3 seasons.
2.
No, we've had 2.
2 seasons. Whatever season number this is.
2.
2 seasons. 2 years. I think this was a perfect wrap up for Mando and Grogu.
Correct.
Done and over with. I think we're sure going to get our Mandalorian. I think he's not going to get... I think Pascal's going to stay. I think he's going to still be our Mandalorian that we will follow. Because now we have him with the Darksaber.
Yep.
Bo-Katan's on that ship with him, literally.
Yep.
We still got Moff Gideon. And we still have all these other shows that are coming out that we can almost have a Star Wars CW kind of thing. Like CW, Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. We can now have crossovers maybe. Maybe like how CW has their big crossover event every year. Maybe we would get a Star Wars one, like, hey, we're going to start airing these all around the same time, and guess what? It's going to be one episode that everybody's going to be in.
And this is what we knew, is that there had been previous reports that Mandalorian Season 3 was coming in December of, like Christmas time, 2021. And then the post-credit stinger of Boba Fett walking into Jabba's palace with Fennec Shand, they murder everybody, and then we get he sits on his throne, and it's the Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021.
That's why I am thinking crossover.
And it was one of those things where immediately I went, wait, okay, the Book of Boba Fett. All of these episodes have been called Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3. Like, they've been titled like chapters, a book. And so in my brain I went, are they going to retroactively say, okay, that was the Book of Din, Din Djarin, or the Book of Grogu, or whatever, and now we're going to get the Book of Boba Fett, and Season 3 of The Mandalorian is actually Season 1 of Boba Fett. And I was like, is that what's going to happen? That's where my brain went.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen. I think we are going to have 2 separate shows. That is what their unconfirmed reports are, that Lucasfilm, Star Wars, Disney has not come out and said anything definitive, but the reports are that these are 2 separate projects. We're still going to have Mandalorian Season 3 that's going to follow Din Djarin, our Mandalorian. The Book of Boba Fett, it could be a limited series, so maybe it's 4 or 6 episodes. It could be a movie, or it could be an ongoing series. We don't know.
It's going to be like an intergalactic Sopranos,
Right.
It's going to be really interesting because, we know that they're,
criminals.
So Jabba the Hutt dies in Return of the Jedi. He was like the head of basically the gangsters in the Outer Rim. They kind of controlled...
So is he more of a godfather or more of a kingpin?
The Hutts controlled the Outer Rim.
Okay.
And the Empire kind of let them control the Outer Rim. It was like,
It was more of a kingpin.
Yeah, and it was kind of like you don't mess with our stuff and we don't mess with you stuff. It's like a truce a little bit. So in that way, it's a little bit like The Godfather also.
Okay.
Because it's kind of like this faction and this faction.
So
and
kind of like World War II, Germany and Russia. We won't mess with you and you don't mess with us. We'll go destroy stuff over here. You don't worry about us.
No, that's historically inaccurate. Germany and Russia fought each other majorly.
After they had an agreement, though. There was an agreement between Hitler
there was a non-aggression
Stalin.
pact between Hitler and everyone in Germany, and then he murdered.
Well, the Huts were like.
Let's not talk about World War II and Hitler, okay? Even though that is very apropos for Star Wars.
So the Huts were like the mafia. They were. They're family members.
They were gangsters. So Jabba the Hutt was the leader, and then he dies. I mean, he gets killed in Return of the Jedi. Leia chokes him out. And by the way, in that scene, Bib Fortuna is there. And so then he's the guy sitting on the throne, and I'm like, but the barge got blown up. How did Bib Fortuna survive?
He jumped out.
They're going to have to give us some sort of explanation.
I was thinking that yesterday. I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, so. And I remember that part. You said Luke blows up a whole sky barge. I was like, he just kills a whole shitload of innocent and guilty people. It's like, they're slaves,
There were a few of those. And we do see, and I thought that was a cool moment, that Fennec comes in and basically frees that slave and is like, get out of here. Like
innocent droids,
the only one they didn't kill was her.
Yeah. And so, we're getting some sort of story with Boba Fett, with a series or a limited series, I do think is going to be separate from our Mandalorian. And we also know we're getting Ahsoka and we're getting Rangers of the New Republic. I think those are going to come a little bit later in 2022 probably. But yeah, I agree with you. Like these are all going to...
That's why
there's going to be characters that cross over and interconnect. We're going to finish the story of Moff Gideon in Mandalorian. Like he's been a presence, he's been a villain for 2 seasons in Mandalorian. So he's going to be, the main villain presence of Mandalorian season 3. I think Bo-Katan is going to play a huge role in that as well, moving forward. When we get to Ahsoka, I think that's going to be more of the Rebels, kind of sequel series. Rangers of the New Republic, I don't really know what that's going to be. I think that's going to be kind of dealing with different threats. I think that might cross over with Boba Fett a little bit.
I think that one definitely will, because if we're going to follow Gina's character, like you said, are we going to start getting that crime lord and her and them two going?
And that's kind of the thing where the Empire kind of let the Hutts control the Outer Rim and be the gangsters. Is the New Republic going to be on board with that? And especially now it's, some random new guy, Boba Fett. Like, we don't know you. We're not going to trust you. Like, so I think there's some conflict to be told there. But I will say that not only was this episode great, but just wrapping up, this was the season finale. And so this whole season was about getting Grogu to a Jedi. I mean, that's like literally season 1 ends with him being quested to deliver Grogu to a Jedi. Right. So this is a very complete season. There were some moments that I wasn't crazy about, but I think overall it was really strong. It did kind of bring in a lot of different characters that, as a major Star Wars nerd, I have a lot of familiarity with, whether it's someone like Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano, Bo-Katan, like these different characters that we have met before. Obviously now Luke Skywalker. But the focus of it and the emotionality of it was on Mando and Grogu, and in no moment was that better shown than when he finally willingly takes off his helmet to have his goodbye, which I think that's the first time Grogu's seen him without his helmet. Because the other 2 times that we saw it in the show,
he was eating soup and he kept trying to like.
The first time was with IG-11 in season 1, the droid that ends up sacrificing himself. Yes. And then, of course, in the last episode, when they're trying to get the information to get Grogu, he does take his helmet off. And so this is, and Frank, you mentioned it. There is a scene earlier in one of the episodes where you see him, they're kind of eating together, and he's kind of eating with his helmet like this, and Grogu's kind of like peeking, like, what's going on? But I think this is the first time, and they get that beautiful goodbye with no words. You don't need the words. It's a really great emotional moment.
It's like, you gotta go with him, okay?
Pascal's a great actor.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember him a little bit from Game of Thrones, but this to me is just, it shows his talent.
Yeah.
I think he's really, really talented, and I can't wait to see season 3 and see where he's going to go. Like, now that he has the Darksaber, Bo-Katan is not going to be happy.
Well, and that's partially what I want to talk about too, is who is he now? Because when we're introduced to him, it's this is the way, and I don't, and I'm the man, I'm a bounty hunter, and I do all these things. Now we've had 2 seasons of him bonding with a child and trying to do whatever's best for that child. He's broken his rule,
several times.
Last time it was out of necessity. It was I need to break it in order to save him.
Yeah.
This time, this is purely emotional. There's no reason.
I think they're doing it so that you can see that he's grown. Because I mean, before he used to do it for the money, and for the prestige, and for the best car. It's so, like that's why I was doing it.
There is a question of who is this character as he moves forward. Now he did win the Darksaber in combat. Is Bo-Katan gonna say, you know what, I wanted it, but I'm gonna throw my weight behind you and we're gonna raise you up to be man? I don't think so either. But I'm just saying, like, is that a story plot where he's gonna be now looking to be the ruler of Mandalore? I don't think he wants that. Yeah. But is somebody gonna try and force that on him because he won the Darksaber in combat?
I think this will be a good way to kind of come back to the Mandalorian. And if we have a group of Mandalorians now, like, let's go to Mandalore and let's reclaim it. Now we are about the Mandalorian as a race of people versus just our Mando. I think that'd be a good way to segue to a new era of the show.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting because
call us, let us know.
We've had 2 seasons of Mando and Grogu.
Yes.
And now,
John's giving you a lot. I want to point this out.
At least for the foreseeable future, we are not going to have Grogu on the show.
I really think he's done. I think that character is done.
He might come back.
He does say we'll see each other again, I promise.
I mean, you say that to every little kid.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but I don't think they would... I don't think they would say that on the show unless they have a plan for us seeing those 2 together again.
John watches this because he's reading your mind somehow.
About
you call him or something.
And this is the thing.
This is the second thing he's done that you called.
Well, okay, so just going back to Luke. As much as I said I wanted it, and I said there's no way they're going to give it to us.
And John's like, yeah.
There was a part of me, and it continued, and of course this episode when it gave it to me, was like, this is the one that makes the most sense.
Correct.
Like, it's not just that, Luke Skywalker is, one of the only Jedi around. Yeah. He's also really the only public Jedi who is
a master.
Together a Jedi Academy.
Correct.
Like, that's literally what he's doing in this time frame. And so it was one of those things where it's like, of course, and in hindsight, it's like, well, of course it was going to be Luke Skywalker, because that's the only thing that makes sense. He's the one that makes the most sense. But leading up to it was like, they're not going to give it to us. They won't do it. No, they definitely gave it.
John's like, let me hold my beer. Hang on. He's like, let me just go in for y'all.
Because you're right. Because I mean, Ezra would have been too young. And he's barely learning.
And we still don't even know if he's back from wherever he went at the end of Rebels. I mean, Dave Filoni was, really cryptic when the Ahsoka episode came out. It was like, well, these events could be before the end of Rebels. It's not, don't worry about it. And it was like, wait a second, is he saying that these events are before the end of Rebels? And in which case, Ezra's still in unknown space along with Thrawn. And so the 2 of them are not anywhere to be found. Yeah. And it's definitely one of those things where, again, it made the most sense for it to be Luke. But, again, getting off of that, the one final moment that I want to talk about, and I don't, again, this is kind of, there's a lot of Star Wars nerdery going on.
Okay.
R2-D2 showing up.
Oh my god.
And that was coming. And having the little interaction with Grogu, which R2-D2 would have been at the Jedi Temple when Grogu was there. They might know each other. Like, Grogu might have been looking at him like, hey, are you R2-D2? And then you get R2-D2 with this series of beeps, and then he's excited. He's like, oh my god! And so that is,
oh my god, R2-D2!
That's the thing where I'm like, wait a second, do these 2 know each other?
No, because remember he got like that whenever he would see Yoda.
Right. Well, that's my thing. Is he just excited because
he looks like Yoda?
Jedi that looks like Yoda,
yeah.
Or is he excited because they actually know each other? Because again, Grogu was at the Jedi Temple and
R2-D2 was there?
Well, R2-D2 was Anakin's droid, and so Anakin was at the temple all the time, so you have to assume R2-D2 was there all the time.
But all he would have been hearing was like, I want to be a master. I want to be a master Jedi. Why can't I be?
Yes.
That's all R2-D2.
Yeah. He's very loyal to the family, though.
Oh, okay.
Hanging out with Luke now.
Yeah, sure. I mean, better conversation than.
And he was with Leia for a while.
But you gotta understand, these droids get their mind wiped all the time. So.
Well, except R2-D2. R2-D2 never gets his mind wiped because nobody can understand him, so it's fine.
Except C-3PO, that's it, right?
That's true. But yeah, I thought that was a really cool moment between the two of them.
I was with the
and then Luke has a moment where he kind of looks at Baby Yoda too, where he kind of looks at him and he's like, and I can feel there's some emotion going on because he was trained by Master Yoda, he watched him die. All of those things, and so I think there's a little bit there too where he's feeling that like this is obviously bringing up memories of Master Yoda for him too.
Yeah.
And I thought that was well played. And one of the few moments where the CG worked a little better for me.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Yeah, it was a nice scene. I think, like you said, logically it was perfect because he's the only one. We get in the movies. I put an academy together. I'm done. That Luke is already tired of all this and BS. I guess I honestly would like to see what happened there, though. But I don't think we're ever going to get that.
I think
maybe
it will
in a book or
be. Yeah, I think it will be explored in other medium, but I don't think it's going to be a live action. That we're going to see the fall of Luke's Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
We saw kind of brief moments of it in the sequel trilogy movie, but I don't think we're going to see everything.
Because I know we need to wrap up soon, but
we do.
Does this mean Kylo killed Grogu? Because doesn't he kill everyone from the temple?
Again. What they revealed in the sequel trilogy, not only is it very minimal, but it also was not very clear on what happened. We know that he killed other Jedi Academy attendees.
Yeah. But he never says all of them, right? We know he just killed something.
We know that it caused Luke to basically give up. And give up on the Jedi Academy. It doesn't mean that he killed all of them.
Exactly.
We don't know. We don't even know if Grogu was still there, because that's about 20 years from this point. 15 to 20 years from this point before that all happens. And so we don't know if Grogu was still there. By the way, I never bought that you could redeem Ben Solo. He killed Han Solo. I'm not a fan, so I already didn't like that they redeemed him in Rise of Skywalker. If we find out he killed Grogu, hell no.
See, that's what I want to know.
Hell no.
Do we all rile now and hate Kylo? Because
I mean, I already did, but hell no.
I love, because there's a meme out there. Because the meme was out there like, I love you, Luke. I'm so glad your character's back, blah, blah, blah. You lay one hair on Baby Yoda. We are going to come kill you. And it's like, yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't know if they've ever, because I know they hint towards that he's killed somebody there, but I didn't know if
No, I mean, you got to understand, because I mean, it's like they say, Vader killed like every Jedi in the temple, and then it's like, oh shit, there's still a whole bunch of Jedi left scattered across the universe.
Yeah, I mean, and he did, hunt them down.
It's like, Krypton was destroyed. I'm the last son of Krypton. There's like 20 other Kryptonians out there.
There's a whole city still.
Exactly.
It's somebody telling some other story. And I will say that this is one of those things where when the prequels came out in 99 was Phantom Menace.
Right.
There was a lot of backlash over the prequels, and a lot of people thought they weren't executed very well. And I think I'm one of them. That I thought like
so funny.
there's some good moments and some good themes, but there's a lot that wasn't executed very well. And then the Clone Wars animated series came out, and it ran for 6-7 seasons.
It filled in a lot of gaps.
And it filled in a lot of gaps, and it made you care more about those characters, and it makes those movies better. I still don't like them a lot,
but they're at least tolerable.
But it makes some of the character choices, it makes some of those things, it makes them make more sense. It makes those movies better. And so I think whether they're doing it consciously or it's just these are the stories they're telling. These stories that they're going to start telling on Disney Plus, whether it's be this story, Mandalorian, or Rangers of the New Republic, or Boba Fett, or all those things, and you can already see this series is laying some seeds for how the First Order comes around. Maybe
this episode 2, I caught that more.
Yep, and maybe they're even laying seeds for how Emperor Palpatine returns, because what are they doing with Baby Grogu and with his blood? And is that tied into bringing Emperor Palpatine back? And so, it's all of these things. I think they are seeding the bridge to the sequel trilogy as well, and giving us things that may make those movies a little bit better. I'm still never going to,
because in hindsight, like you said,
Yeah.
what was Moff Gideon scared of? You know, it's like,
there's
why?
something more there, and we're gonna get it. And again, Rise of Skywalker, I will never go back and love that movie. My first experience with it left me so cold.
I still get to see it.
And it's one of those things that, and you know, it's just, I will never love that movie. But will there come a point where there's enough of this other content out there that explains some of the things that aren't explained well in that movie, that I can then watch it and go, okay, I see what you were trying to do and I enjoy it. Maybe, but I'll still also always go, well, JJ screwed up and it took all these other people to fix it. Because you shouldn't have to do that. Like, when you're telling a
movie.
stories and movies, those should make sense and stand alone. You shouldn't need all of the other things to do it, unless you explicitly set it up that way, which they're kind of doing like in the MCU with some of these series where they're saying, hey, WandaVision is going to feed into, Multiverse of Madness, and they're telling you, right? They're telling you, hey.
I think they're setting up these stories pretty well. I mean, they're like you said, they're laying the seeds, they're laying the groundwork, because now you know Night Watch, and you know Bo-Katan, and
And I gotta say, they clearly, it was around the time, Solo came out the year before Rise of Skywalker, and when that movie didn't do well, they had all kinds of plans. It was like, we're gonna do this and this and this and this and this, and then Solo came out and it didn't bomb, but it didn't do well.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're gonna take a step back.
Yeah.
And they backed off of all that stuff, and I think it was this show, The Mandalorian, that made them go, all right, we're gonna go full speed ahead again, but we're gonna do it in these ways. Because Rise of Skywalker was also very mixed. That came out just a year ago, and it still divides the fandom. There's still a lot of people that are not crazy about that movie. And, The Mandalorian was, season 1 was ending right around the time that Rise of Skywalker came out, and that's what everybody was talking about. Like, this is the Star Wars that we love. And I think by the time you're getting
backwards, right?
Dave Filoni and John Favreau and Pedro Pascal, all of them, and whoever's controlling that little puppet. But anyways, by the time we're getting to this season of season 2 of The Mandalorian, and we've had now, this pandemic that's put so much stuff on hold and just pushed so many things back. And, that Disney Investor Day where they just dropped all that information about Star Wars, and it was like, we are going full speed, but most of it's coming to Disney Plus, and it's because of this show. Because of the success of this show and what they've shown is possible, and the appetite that people have for this. I mean, this is one of the most popular shows in streaming ever.
Yeah. No, 110%. I agree with you. And, that's the thing, I think Marvel, what they've been doing, and they're watching how they're almost using Marvel as the blueprint.
Sure.
And they're following up.
They're both at Disney now, so it makes sense.
And I think that's what's helping them too.
And by the way, they're doing it a lot better than DC did, which DC looked over at Marvel and went, we want that too! And then we're
going to do this whole thing with Zack Snyder.
And they didn't take their time. No. And that's the thing
that is what's going to make them fail.
And that's what's really working with Star Wars is like this show is taking its time. We've had now over 2 seasons, 16 episodes. We've had probably 10 to 12 hours with Mandalorian, with our main characters. And
I think I like
that's as long as a trilogy of movies.
Yeah, and I think I like the fact that they don't veer away from Star Wars lore, the troopers that are really bad at shooting, and the monsters and the beasts and the different. I like how they keep coming back to the Death Star. I was like, the Death Star. Wait, which one?
That was funny.
The first one or the second one?
Right. Which clearly when she drops that line, she's wanting to piss him off, and I think she's waiting for her excuse to shoot him.
Yeah, I do like that.
Because it's even with Timothy, what's his name? When he's not the first one, the second one.
Yeah.
The second one that got destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should wrap it up though.
Yeah,
we've been longer than the episode again.
But
it's such a good episode.
It's also a season wrap up.
Such a good one.
And I will say the one thing, and even though we've already touched on it, where I've said I don't think that Boba Fett is replacing this show. The one thing that also had me just a little bit concerned about that is every episode, and this includes season 1's finale, every episode of The Mandalorian, when we go to credits, we get, like the images, and we get like the different concept art and all that stuff over the credits. This one, we didn't get that, and we also got kind of an extensive list of people that have worked on the show. Like, it was like all the creators and stuff, and it felt a little bit like a finale sort of credits, and I was like, don't you do this.
Wrapping up that chapter.
Don't you do this to me.
And I don't think they will. I think you're right. I think it's something else. Because
I think so too.
this book, or this movie, or show, god dang it.
What is it?
I don't see, whatever it is now.
This book, movie, show.
On an amazing platform. I think...
Disney show. How much are they paying you?
Cartoon.
Not enough. I think, though, the one reason I also don't think it is because during Disney Investor Day, they slid this in there. It's something we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
The price of Disney Plus is supposed to go up. Not a lot. It's only going up like $1.
Yeah.
But I think it's...
A whole $1?
Yes. But with them hitting 86 million subscribers right now, that's 86 million more dollars, period. I think that it's because we are going to be getting more content. We need to pay these actors. So I don't think we're going to lose Mandalorian. I think the Book of Boba Fett's going to be its own thing.
Yep.
I really feel like they did all these credits because this is the end of the Grogu saga. This is going to be the Grogu saga.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't think we're going to get Grogu again. Yes, I'll promise to see you. Maybe at the end of the series, the whole show, maybe.
Okay, so when you say that, by the way, it's just when you say we're not gonna see Grogu again. Well, we've had the Skywalker saga. And guess what? Guess who just showed up in this show? Like, they still show up in other stuff. Like, Grogu is coming back.
So let's see.
We're gonna find out whether.
Now is Mando gonna be working for Boba now?
Hell no.
No, I don't think so.
Hell no.
But here's the thing.
Stay away from me.
I want to know. Grogu goes up. Grogu talks. Is he going to talk like Yoda?
I don't know.
That's all I want to know. Like,
I saw an interesting article about that, and we should talk about that offline because it's not necessary for this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The one hanging thread that I'm like, what's gonna happen now? Mando doesn't have a ship.
Oh, so
he's like.
And so like we saw the Mandalorians. The Mandalorians have their ship, which we saw Boba Fett land next to. It's a cool ship that's actually been in like Rebels and Clone Wars. We've seen those ships before. Those are cool ships. Obviously, Boba Fett has his ship. Mando still doesn't have a ship. So where did they leave him? Did they drop him back off like with Cara Dune, and he's back? With.
Is he gonna take a cruiser from the cruiser?
Yeah, I mean, I was like, what are you doing, Mando? And
He just takes all the parts of that one mechanic ship.
Maybe he's gonna take Bo-Katan's ship, and now that Bo-Katan has the light cruiser.
Is this like the $6 million man? We have the technology. We can rebuild.
He's like, I just killed a bunch of stormtroopers. We got a bunch of money now.
Hey, I brought you Moff Gideon. Can you give me a new ship that looked exactly like my old one?
Right? Come on. You got Moff Gideon. You didn't tell me this whole thing about having to beat him for the lightsaber, else I would have fought him, something.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe the ship is not his. Because he's not in charge of the Mandalorians.
Nah, he don't want that.
I mean, he don't want it, but he need a ship.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Boca will give her his ship.
I don't think she's gonna give him a ship. I think I want to know.
They're in conflict.
Like you said, it's season finale part. I want to know one last thought.
Okay.
Where do you think the next season is going to?
Well, that's what I asked you earlier. Is like who is the Mandalorian now? I have no idea.
I think. Like I said.
The only thing we are going to have to deal with the Darksaber, Moff Gideon, Bo-Katan storyline. And so that's the first storyline that's coming up with me. I think he's going to want to maybe not back to the world of bounty hunting, or maybe he will, but it'll be like honorable bounty hunting. Like he's only going to do it for the New Republic or something like that. Where he wants to go back maybe to that life, but he has grown and learned as a character. But he's going to be ostracized from his cult because he's just flipping that helmet off whenever he feels like it now. So he's not going to be able to go back to them. Obviously, he's got this whole thing with Bo-Katan that he's got to deal with that conflict. Moff Gideon, of course, at some point is going to escape because that's how villains work. And so we're going to have to deal with all this stuff.
But nobody knows about the mask. I mean, so I'm pretty sure he can go back.
Once again, he has a sense of honor. He's not
still
going
like
to
Superman. I don't lie.
Right, he's not going to lie about that fact. It's so important to him and so important to those people.
Now, what if he does
way
lie?
He would.
Would that make you feel less of a character on him?
That would make me feel like he's betrayed some character. Yes.
Okay.
Like they gave us 2 seasons to show why he built up to taking his mask off and why that was okay and why that wasn't a betrayal of his character. And so if he just comes back and says, "Oh no, I've never taken my mask off. What are you talking about?" Like I would be like, "Okay, what did we just spend 2 seasons with this guy for?"
Okay.
So no.
See,
He's
like
gonna have to own it.
I think what we're gonna get is we're gonna get more stuff on the Mandalorian. I think we're gonna get. I would like to see him go to a war.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
Mandalorian
like a
culture,
war.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna
that'd
do
be
it.
interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, this has been a really long episode.
it is.
Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching these reviews with us all season long. We will, of course, be back for season 3, assuming we get it, which we both think we will. Or we'll be back to talk, I'm sure, about the Book of Boba Fett. We'll also be back shortly in just a few weeks to talk about WandaVision.
I did that on purpose this
WandaVision.
time. I did it
Learn it.
on purpose.
WandaVision is coming. And actually, I think it's really cool. We're getting a couple things in between. So that's debuting on Friday the 15th. But next Friday, Christmas Day, we're getting a special. Well, we're getting a Star Wars special about the making of season 2. We're also getting Soul and Wonder Woman 84. So we'll have stuff coming out on that.
Cruise.
The cruise.
Dang, DreamWorks, he just doesn't care.
No. And then the week before WandaVision comes out on December the 8th, we're also getting kind of a Marvel series that I think is going to give us some backstory on where these characters have been leading into WandaVision. And they kind of announced that they're going to be doing that for every show. We're going to get like almost a pre-episode episode.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to just be like creators talking about it, interviews, or if it's going to be actual footage. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to get something on that date leading into WandaVision. So we've got a lot coming. We're going to be talking about a lot. Make sure you stay subscribed to our channel because we love to talk, as you can tell by this episode. We love to geek out with you. So definitely drop your comments down below so we can continue the conversation. Like this video. Again, comment down below, subscribe to our channel. Check out our weekly show, Talking Geek. That's Aaron. I'm Robert. We are Get Your Geek On. And this has been so much fun talking about The Mandalorian. We'll be back again soon. Bye-bye. Holy
An hour 3.